Homecoming here. The Spartans are 4-2, DMA 3-3, and as we talked about briefly in the pregame show, it's really, in a lot of ways, a must-win, Marty, for both these teams. St. Mark's can't afford a third loss. They've got Woodbridge left, St. Elizabeth, and Salesianum, two top 10 teams in D2, and of course Sally's ranked number 5 in D1.
That's right, and of the two teams, St. Mark's has definitely been playing better over the last couple weeks, even though they've lost 2 of the 3 games. With the injury situation, DMA has just been getting pounded. Hopefully tonight they've got some of those guys back.
Jelani Bryant is in at quarterback. He's got 6 touchdowns through the air, 3 rushing. Does have 5 interceptions on the year if you were looking for a negative thing. He completes 54% of his passes. And again, it's going to be 1st and 10 just underway here at St. Mark's. It looks like they've got the ball marked on the 32-yard line. On the right hash mark, moving right to left. Green jerseys, green pants for St. Mark's. They got the gold numbers. The DMA jerseys, quite frankly, are a nightmare. White numbers on white shirts with the navy blue pants. And when the head coach apologizes for the jerseys, that's not a good sign. To give up the middle is to Carter Benham, the leading rusher on this St. Mark's team. It looks like he maybe got back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Going to bring up a 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Carter Benham's one of those kids that's done a really nice job for St. Mark's this year. They lost Andrew Watkins. He transferred out to Salesianum. Carter Benham has stepped up and really done a nice job in the running game for the Spartan team.
Imagine if Benham and Watkins were both in the backfield for the St. Mark's team.
Right.
Watkins, of course, is leading the Sally's team in rushing. The Sally's team in rushing. I formation, 2nd and 10. Man in motion, that's Duplessis, and the handoff is to Benham again. He works his way up through the left tackle, and he's going to make it up. They're going to mark it at the 37-yard line. Going to bring up a 3rd and 5 for St. Mark's.
One of the strong points of this St. Mark's team in the early part of the season is their offensive line play. They've got some big kids up front. They got Gavin McCarthy, who's a transfer from St. Elizabeth. He followed Joey right over, along with TJ Butler, who's one of the running backs in the St. Mark's arsenal, has done a really nice job adding to the offensive production as well.
So 3rd and 5. The ball is lined up right between the 2 hash marks. One wide receiver out to the to the right. Duplessis here lined up. One in the slot. Benham is on the right hip of Bryant, and the give is going to be to Sanders, and he works his way around the right side, and his forward momentum is stopped just short of the 1st down, and then he is corralled down by a host of tacklers. Going to bring up a 4th down. They're going to mark it on the 41-yard line.
It's an interesting possession for St. Mark's. They didn't put the ball in the air at all. DMA, frankly, has been susceptible through the air the past couple weeks. I'm surprised that St. Mark's chose to go 3 straight on the ground, unless they're just testing to see how soft that DMA defense up front. So far, so good for the Seahawks.
And so it's going to bring up a punting situation. Karan Aline, the most lethal return man in the state of Delaware, is back, and Ludman kicks it away, and he's going to give Aline an opportunity, although a tough one. He gets it at the 15 to the 20, trying to force him over to the sideline. A flag comes in, and Aline gets forced out of bounds. We'll see where they end up marking it, and then where the flag ends up. It's going to be marked at the 33-yard line. We'll see what that flag does.
I understand there's a macho element to football, but I will never understand why anybody kicks the ball to Karan Aline. Archmere did it late in the game last week, thinking they had the game wrapped up, and he brought a kickoff back for 80 yards. So I just don't understand the strategy of kicking the ball at all to Ali, especially when you have a guy like Chris Ludman who can directionally punt the football.
And so the call is going to go against Delaware Military Academy, their first penalty of the night. And it's going to bring up they're going to take it back to the 21-yard line. And so it will be 1st and 10 from the 21. And Joe Deal will come marching onto the field. He's back after missing last week's game with a concussion. Of course, this DMA team has been bagged up. Aline missed the Hodson games along with Dior Boyd. And so they are healthy, or as healthy as they're probably going to be for the first time. They've got a couple other guys who are out. We'll talk about them in just a minute. 2 wide receivers out to the right. It looks like McCloskley in the slant, and it's a quick out to the receiver at the 15-yard line. Again, we apologize in advance. These numbers are extremely difficult to read, and that looked like it was Dior Boyd on the catch, and he's going to get up to the 22-yard line. So just a game of one is going to bring up a first down.
And that's been part of the game plan all year for DMA. They love to get the ball out to Aline and Dior Boyd specifically in space. Let them go one-on-one. They've got some nice blocking on the outside for both the tight end Austin Edmonds and from some of the receivers. So that's been a staple of their offense from the beginning of the season.
Two wide receivers out to the right on this 2nd and 9 play. DMA moving left to right. They're on the right hash mark here. As we see it, it's Karan Aline who is lined up. Pistol formation. Boyd goes in motion from right to left over and joins McCloskey in the left slot. It's going to be a pitch to Aline around the left side. He's going to try to get to the outside, and a nice job of pursuit there by the St. Mark's defense. Looks like he barely got back to the line of scrimmage, maybe even lost a yard.
That was a great job on pursuit by the St. Mark defense. You know, we saw St. Elizabeth's 3 weeks ago really kind of wrote the blueprint for how to stop Karan Aline if you can. They mirrored him with a linebacker throughout the game. Be curious to see if St. Mark's has come up with something similar, especially with a head coach with the acumen of Joe Wright.
And so that's going to bring up a 3rd down and 9. Aline is on the right hip of Deal. Two wide receivers out to the right. Deal drops back, and he's pressured, comes out of the pocket, trying to get up to the 1st down, spins out of the first tackle, and is brought down by a host of St. Mark's tacklers, and he's going to maybe get to the 30-yard line, and that's going to bring up a 4th and 1.
Nice job by Joe Deal there. You don't want to throw the ball away in any bad situation. St. Mark's did a really nice job out in coverage. The offensive line gave Deal plenty of time, just wasn't able to find anyone. Good job to pick up some positive yardage, bring up a 4th and short, but of course this deep, got to get rid of the football.
And so dropping back is Blake Sanders for the Spartans, and he's going to end up lining up on about his own 35-yard line. And the referees are coming in to check something. It looks like there is an equipment issue. Running off the field is James Hahn from DNA, and he's going to be replaced. Is that Karan Aline running in to replace him on the kickoff team?
Yes, it is.
And so with this 4th down and 1, and it's a very small one, you know, one of those ones, Marty, where you would think if you were on the other side of the field, you'd probably be going for
High
it.
alert, yes.
But they can't afford to do that. And so the punt is away. It's a booming punt. Sanders is looking whether he's going to receive it, and he does on the 30-yard line. He's almost taken down, spins out of one tackle, comes around to the left side to the 35, 40. He's going to try to cut back and be pushed out of bounds, and that's a late hit. That should be a flag. If that's not a flag, Marty, I don't know what is.
I don't either. I have yet to see a flag.
Yeah, me either.
The sideline must have looked a little further away than it was for us, but yeah, that looked like a late hit. If nothing else, it was unnecessary.
Right.
The player was already going out of bounds. So a big hit delivered there. Nice job by Blake Sanders. It looked like he was going to fair catch that with, which of course it looked like DMA thought he was going to do that. They were unprepared when he took off with that. So nice job bringing the ball back, although he paid a heavy price for not a huge gain.
Yeah, and I thought they could have caught a late hit. I thought they could have caught a helmet or a
Yes.
targeting call as well, but the flag was not thrown either way. 1st and 10, St. Mark's moving right to left on their own 42-yard line from the left hash mark. Jelani Bryant has Benham on his left hip. It's a quick out and an incomplete pass trying to get it out to Sanders. That was Aline on the coverage, so number 1 against number 1. It's going to bring up a 2nd down.
Jelani Bryant looked like that time he thought the receiver was going to get Blake Sanders was going to continue forward a little bit. You know, the one knock, and I'm thinking Joey Wright will work on this in the offseason, Jelani Bryant has, is he really tends to lock in on his primary receiver. Of the 3 games I watched on tape, encompassing about 40 passes, saw him look off the primary receiver twice, and he really gets dialed in. And the problem is that he'll sometimes let it go, even when that person is double or triple covered. He's got great legs. Last week against Howard, 17 rushes, 100 yards, and a touchdown.
Joey Wright knows a little bit something about
Yes,
playing
he
quarterback.
does.
Of course, started here at St. Mark's, went on to a career at Westchester University, and then was the head coach at St. Elizabeth last year before the coaching domino effect took place here starting at St. Mark's. And it's a give up the middle. That's Tim Butler, who's the other big runner for this team, and he's going to pick up about 5 of the 10 necessary. They're going to mark it at the 47-yard line. It's going to bring up a 3rd down.
Right on cue, speaking of St. Elizabeth, T.J. Butler was a transfer from St. Elizabeth, followed Coach Wright over here along with the lineman Gavin McCarthy. And TJ Butler's one of those kids that did a really nice job offensively for Joey Wright last year, racked up about 300 yards on the ground. He's on the pace for similar numbers here. He's kind of an off-pace back as opposed to Carter Benham, who's more likely to run between the tackles.
Average is almost about 8 yards a carry, so they've got two guys who can run the football. Third, and we're going to call it 6. Ended up marking at the 46-yard line. Bryant is back, and he's looking and rolls to his left, being chased out of bounds, and he's going to be taken down in on the tackle there. That was Austin Edmonds for DMA, and that's going to bring up another 4th down.
You know, almost as if he heard me, that was a great job by Jelani Bryant. He came off of the primary receiver. He scanned the field. For a moment, he had somebody over here, but he thought better of it. It was a difficult throw to make on the run. He settled for whatever he could get there. So a nice job. I like the thought process there by Jelani Bryant.
And so that is going to bring up the 4th down, and it's going to be Eric Ludman back to kick and Karan Aline, and we'll see if they even give Karan Aline an opportunity to kick or not.
Yeah, this will be interesting. I'm not sure how many chances you want to give Aline before he makes you pay for it.
And the snap is back, and it's almost blocked, and then running into the kicker, a flag is down. And so that was number 84, Jaden Stokes. I'm not sure how he didn't block it, and then he ran into the kicker.
I'm almost, more amazing, magician-like way he did not block that punt. It looked like every bit of his body was there. Instead of laying out for the ball, he just stuck out the one arm, which I'm sure they'll talk about him when they review that. But, yeah, that's a penalty. You just can't give a team like St. Mark's too many chances. Your defense has been banged up because a lot of guys play both ways on DMA. So when you finally get your team back and you've gotten off to such a strong start defensively, you don't want to give the Spartans any second chances.
And that's going to bring Jelani Bryant and the offense back on because that 5 yards, actually it's going to be a personal foul, so it will be 15 yards. So it wasn't even close. It was going to be a first down either way, but with the 15-yard personal foul, he did knock the kicker over, and so it is going to bring a first down all the way up to the 37-yard line of DMA.
Now this is where the DMA defense has really got to bone up and try to keep St. Mark's out of the end zone. With their offensive struggles recently, they don't want to fall behind.
And so Jelani Bryant is under center, I formation. It is Benham in the back, and he gets it, and going over the left tackle, and he gets spun around and taken down, and they're going to mark it at the 33-yard line, so it'll be a pickup of 4 and a 2nd down and 6.
He got a really nice kick-out block there from Dalton Freezer, a 5'10", 245-pound freshman on the line, and Benham, again, is one of those kind of tough kids. He kind of has sort of a similar running style to Andrew Watkins. He's a bruising kid, even though he's not that big, but he will lower the shoulder and knock some guys over.
And so it is going to be 2nd, and we're going to call it 6. Jelani Bryant has it. Moving right to left. No score here. St. Mark's DMA. Handoff is to Benham, and he goes over the left tackle again, and he's taken down. Hudson in on the tackle for DMA, and they're going to mark it at the 29-yard line, about 2 yards shy of the first down.
Offensive line for St. Mark's starting to assert themselves here now. You get the DMA kids, the defense thinking they had a nice stop. They get off the field. All of a sudden, they're right back on. St. Mark's runs it down their throats on 2 consecutive plays, and DMA's on their heels.
3rd down, and we're calling it about 2.5, so it's officially 3rd down and 3 at the 29-yard line where they ended up marking it. Going out for St. Mark's is Sanders and Duplessis. They are out to the right. It is Benham who is in the back of the I formation. Bryant goes under center, and the handoff is to the up back, and he spins out of one move and is taken down. That's number 27, Devin Jones, just his 14th carry of the season, so trying something they haven't done in a while. Didn't work. He barely got back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe lost a yard.
Yeah, Devin Jones very hesitant when he took that handoff. Now, he was met by a DMA defender right there, but as the fullback, you just got to lower your shoulder, bull your way forward, get as much as you can. So kind of a lost opportunity there. Interesting call on 3rd and short for St. Mark's. Brings up a 4th and about long 2.
And so Bryant comes off the sideline with a play. They're on the left hash mark, so this is the short side of the field right in front of us. Duplessis is lined up on the sideline. Sanders goes to the far right along with Christian Calmery. Benham is on the right hip of Bryant. Bryant is in shotgun formation. And again, it is 4th and about 2. Duplessis goes in motion, and they hand it to him, and he drops the ball, picks it up about 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, gets taken down back to the original line of scrimmage, and so it is going to be a turnover on down. So St. Mark's not able to take advantage of the roughing the punter penalty, and DMA is going to take over. They're going to mark the ball, it looks like, on the 38-yard line.
And if you're Coach Joe Wright, this is a movie you've seen way too many times this season. They have fumbled the ball away 9 times. They've thrown 5 interceptions, Coming into the game, they were -5 in turnover margin on the season. You're not going to be very successful doing that. And on a 4th and short, again, an interesting play call. They had the first 2 downs there. They had really bulled their way for some positive yardage, and they kind of got cute on 3rd and 4th down, and they paid for it.
And so it's going to be 1st and 10. Deal with a little pitch to Aline. He makes a cut back up the right tackle and across the field. Still on his feet to the 50, to the 40. One man to beat, and he's got a blocker in front to the 30, 20, and touchdown. Touchdown for Karan Aline, his 11th rushing touchdown. A 62-yard score, and DMA strikes first.
And it's one of the staple runs we've seen from Aline over the last 2 years. He gets a little crease in the middle. He's so slippery. He gets down low. He's a really thin kid. You slip right off him. And then he got an escort all the way down the field. Again, the numbers are so nightmarish to see here. I think that was Dior Boyd who kind of escorted him and kept blocking his man all the way down the field, enabling Karan Aline to kind of move in and out and get himself into the end zone.
And so on the kick, the extra point for DMA is Mike Ruggieri. And it looks like somebody's going to take a timeout. DMA is going to take a timeout. We'll take a timeout with them. You're listening to the Game of the Week on Fox Sports 1290 and 302 Sports. DMA has struck first, 6-0 over St. Mark's.
Unique Image opened for business in Wilmington, Delaware in 1979 with one focus, wowing our customers with great products and even greater customer service. 30 years later, we are still doing exactly that. Whether you're looking for marketing tools to promote your business, gifts for your employees or clients, or planning a special event, we're here with the voice of experience to help you every step of the way for your complete satisfaction. Visit our new showroom in the Mill Creek Shopping Center, 4577 Kirkwood Highway. Unique Image, you envision, we create. Mr. Italian began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 home buyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers.
John, I think they only have 10. DMA ran somebody off the field. I believe they only have 10 men on the field for this extra point.
And so, well, that would have explained, and then it's a bad snap, so it's not going to matter either way, and the tackle is made, so the extra point was no good. There was a timeout taken. You thought they would have fixed that.
Yeah, I was a disaster all around.
Yeah, I only count 10 right now unless somebody snuck off real quick. So either way, with 2:54 to play, DMA has taken a 6-0 lead on Karan Ali's 62-yard touchdown run. It was the first play from scrimmage after the turnover on downs by St. Mark's, who were unable to convert on that 4th and short. So DMA with a 3-3 record. We talked about how it being almost a must-win situation for them, Marty.
Loss is really going
to driven out of bounds, a big hit on the far side by DMA. Busby along with Marty Sheehan. You're watching it live on 302 Sports, and it's a 6-0. Moving right to left.
Flew up into the air, but that's one of those plays as a quarterback. A couple of interesting calls, but yeah, you can't go backwards.
3rd down and 20 for St. Mark's.
Oh, are we off? Situations, but another flag. We're starting to see a lot of yellow on the field here late in the first quarter. Waiting for the call from the officials. We've got an illegal block on St. Mark's on 4th down. Had a botched play that resulted in a fumble and turned the ball over on downs. DMA offense comes back out on the field. Mark's team leading 3rd sack season. He'd been down to 1:10 left, and they've used to of success this season and tonight. best drive we've seen to date.
And so it's going to bring up a 3rd and 4 for DMA. They lead 6-0 here, 10:45 to play here in the second quarter. They're now moving right to left with the white jerseys, the navy blue pants. Welcome back to Spartan Stadium here on the St. Mark's campus. It is 3rd and 4 for DMA. They have a 6-0 lead coming out of a timeout by St. Mark's. Deal is in the shotgun formation. Karan Aline, one of the most lethal weapons in the state of Delaware, off his left hip. The give is to Aline. He tiptoes his way forward, and he gets stopped short of the first down. That was Jaden Elliott, the 6-foot senior linebacker who made the stop there. Is going to bring up a 4th down. Marty, you think they go for it?
I think you have to go for it here. You're on the St. Mark's 40-yard line. They've had success running the ball a little bit in this drive. If it were me, if I were Joe Deal or Mike Ryan, I probably would have gone up to the line and tried to run a quick quarterback sneak with Joe Deal. I don't know if you go to Aline here or not, or if you just try to do a quick quarterback sneak. They are a good yard short of the first down. You just want to make sure, and they're going to put Karan Aline in the Wildcat, which is what we saw all last week when he played quarterback.
And he can also throw. He threw a 59-yard touchdown pass last week. I believe it's Boyd who spread out there to the right side, and a penalty from the back judge, and so that's going to be a delay of game.
Either that or we're going to get a delay game. That just took way too long. I know Coach Ryan brought Deal over to the sideline. They sort of talked about what they wanted to do, but when you put a guy like Karan Aline at quarterback who's not used to looking at that back judge for the count, you run the risk of that happening. Unfortunately, if you're DMA, that couldn't happen at a worse time. You have 4th, a little bit less than a yard to go. Now you're definitely in a punting situation.
And punting they will do. And dropping back for St. Mark's is Blake Sanders.
Andrew Hudson on the punt for DMA here.
Sanders is back on his own 10-yard line. No wind. It's chilly. It's a chilly fall night, but there are no wind conditions right now. And the punt is away, and they're going to let it bounce. And St. Mark's had to duck out of the way there. It takes a DMA roll and is going to be down at about the 15-yard line. And that's where St. Mark's will take over, 1st and 10.
Interesting there. I think if you're St. Mark's punt returner, you've got to come up a little bit. We haven't seen Andrew Hudson. He's not a booming punter by any means. He does get the ball high up into the air, but that's the kind of punt you've got to field that. You cost yourself 10, 15 yards in field position by letting that bounce.
And so with 9:34 to play here in the second quarter, DMA with a 6-0 lead. They struck first on a 62-yard touchdown run by Karan Aline. For Aline, it was his 11th rushing touchdown of the season. He also has a receiving touchdown and had an 82-yard return for a touchdown on a kickoff return last week. 1st and 10, Jelani Bryant under center. And the handoff is to the fullback. I'm trying to catch the number on that. I think that might have been Tim Butler on the carry.
Tim Butler, usually the change of pace back from Carter Benham. But, I want to give credit to DMA's defensive line. Again, they're missing some starters, to my knowledge, especially I know on the offensive line side, Jacob Hudson is the only senior starter tonight. I believe he's also starting on the defensive side of the ball. Again, the number is almost impossible to see even with binoculars on the DMA side. You look at a guy with a 0, and he could be anything from 1 to 9.
And so it's going to be second down on the 16, and it is Butler off to Bryant's right, 2 wide receivers on each side. And Bryant looks back. He gets chased out of the pocket, runs up the middle, tucks the ball away, and gets brought down. It looks like he's going to be shy of the first down by a couple yards, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down.
That was a really nice job by Jelani Bryant. He saw the pocket collapsing around him. He saw there was a little crease in the front of that pocket, made his way through, picked up a good 6-7 yards, bring up a 3rd and short, a very convertible situation for St. Mark's, but something they've really struggled defensively, and they've yet to gain a positive yardage with any of those plays. I know Joe Wright wants to mix things up a little bit. I'm not sure DMA is the defense you need to do that against.
And so it's going to bring up a 3rd and 9 for St. Mark's. 3 wide receivers are going to head out to the left. One here closest to us. That's going to be Michael Williams. Bryant is in the shotgun formation. He drops back, looks to the right, fires, and tried to hit Williams. Could have been 6 if he caught it, but went over his head.
Absolutely. That's 6 points if Jelani Bryant puts that on target just a little bit high. Again, Jelani Bryant's a junior. This is the first year that Coach Wright is working with him, and with his resume and his background as a quarterback, great career at St. Mark's, great career at Westchester. I believe he underwent 5 knee surgeries while in his 4 years as a quarterback at Westchester. So a guy who really put in a lot of work.
Wow, so Ludman is going to be back to kick off, and of course it's Karan 35, not kick off, punt of course. And the punt is away, and it's going to be to the right sideline. They're not even going to give Lean a chance, and it takes a big St. Mark's bounce, and we'll see where they end up spotting it. It's going to be right around the 20-yard line, and that's exactly where they're going to spot it. So a great punt.
It really was. That's what I said. When I said Eric Ludman can directionally punt, he absolutely can. He's one of the better kickers in the state. He's got a great leg. A lot of people thought, including myself, he was going to win them the game against Archmere a few weeks ago, but a combination of a slick field and snap and hold that weren't exactly perfect contributed to his missing that, but a kid with a great leg.
Tonight's broadcast is presented by the United States Air Force. The U.S. Air Force wants you to know there's a new recruiter in your area. Tech Sergeant Andrew Bugg, and his office is located on the riverfront in Wilmington. Stop by and find out about the exciting opportunities waiting for you in today's Air Force. 1st and 10 for DMA. They have a 6-0 lead. Moving right to left, the white jerseys, navy blue pants, and the white helmets. They're lined up on the left hash mark. It is Joe Deal back after missing last week's game because of a concussion. The give is to Elaine. He goes up over the right tackle. Going to be a pickup of about 3 to the 23-yard line.
And off the right tackle is something we haven't seen a lot from DMA this year. They usually like to run to the left side, but again, they've been devastated by injuries. They lost their center, Dante Posey, who was sort of the anchor of this line. One of their other senior linemen, Perone, I believe, was out with a concussion. Again, Jacob Hudson has really been the guy who's held this offensive line together, the only senior on that offensive line. It's continued to do some yeoman's work up there, but not much doing on that one for Corona Lee.
Dover a 22-0 lead, or 22-0 lead over Smyrna right now. So Smyrna eyeing up their 4th loss of the season if that score holds. Karana Reline takes the handoff, goes around the right side, and picks up a 1st down at the 34-yard line.
He's a kid that needs so little room to get going, and as we talked about, when he's at 100%, which I'm still not convinced he is, he hits the line at top speed better than anyone I've seen in the last couple of years. He's been banged up. If anyone watched the Archmere game last week with the gallop he ran with, it was pretty clear he was favoring one leg. So the quicker he gets healthier, the better off DMA will be. 1st
and 10, ball on the 33-yard line. Deal is in the pistol formation. Karan Aline was behind him, now moves over to his left hip. Hudson is lined up in front of us, but Aline gets it, goes over the left tackle, slips, and that might have slowed him down just enough for St. Mark's Tim Butler to come in and make the tackle, but not until Aline gets into St. Mark's territory to the 48-yard line and a 1st down.
Yeah, the turf monster jumped up there, got Karan Aline just as he was about to break into the open. A nice job of Tim Butler to finish him off there. Still a big gain for Karan Aline, who's starting to find some spaces. That time, a nice hole opened up by the DMA offensive line in the middle. On the play before that, he was able to get to the outside. They have some nice blocking from their wide receivers and their tight end Austin Edmond. It looks like they're finally starting to get some momentum going on the line.
And the referee here.
A sideline warning.
Yep.
Coach Wright.
That's exactly what we're going to get. So no yardage, but it is a warning. And the St. Mark's coaches are imploring for their teams to get back. And you can see after they moved it back, you can see where the white line is. And all 40 of them, or 40 plus, were in front of that. So nice call there by the officials. It is 1st and 10 on the St. Mark's 48-yard line. High snap. Bryant does a nice job. Deal does a nice job pulling that down. Hands the ball off. A pickup of about 1. And it looked like the handoff was there. I'm trying to see that number there. Dylan Gilbert? That can't be right. Again, folks, they're white jerseys with white numbers with barely a blue tint covering up the numbers. And so I'm not sure who it was, but either way, it's 2nd down and 9 for DMA, moving right to left as we see it. Ball's on the 47-yard line. And another flag is thrown. This one's not going to be a sideline penalty. It's going to be a false start against DMA.
This has been a really disjointed game between two teams that are, 6-7 games into their season. It feels like more like an early season game with some of the mistakes we've seen, the fumbles, we've seen a roughing the punter, we've seen personal foul penalties, we've seen delay of games, we've seen missed handoffs. So, yeah, just a lot of disjointed action going on out there tonight in a game that, and maybe part of it's the pressure. This is a really important game for both of these teams.
And both of them know that as well.
Yes.
Two wide receivers to the left. The give is to Aline. He sidesteps one way, goes the other, and is still on his feet. Gets over the 45-yard line. Looks like they're going to mark it at the 48. Still going to be short of the first down. Going to bring up a 3rd and about 5.
It's one of those kids who just keeps his legs chugging as he's going forward. That time just kind of lowered his head, kept his legs going, and was able to slip through 2 tackles. Ends up what started out to be looked like maybe a gain of 1 or nothing. Ends up getting 4 or 5 yards on the play to bring up a 3rd and 5.
So with 2:42 to play, DMA is 3rd and 5 on the 43-yard line. Aline is on the left tip of Deal. 2 wide receivers out on each side. It looks like Boyd going in motion right to left. He's just an obstacle there. Gets out of the way. They give it to Aline up the middle, and he maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage. Looks like they're going to give him forward progress to the 42-yard line. Going to bring up a 4th down.
Looked like initially that play was designed for Aline to go up the middle, but there was nothing there. He kind of tried to turn it out to the right to make something happen, but the St. Mark's defensive line had already overwhelmed their blockers and was just lying in wait for him.
2:05 to play here. Time is ticking. DMA with a 6-0 lead. That score on a 62-yard touchdown run on the first play from scrimmage of DMA's second possession of the game. Since then, it's been quiet on both sides. Deal drops back, flushed out of the pocket, and he's going to pick up the first down across the 30 and taken down from behind. In on the tackle was Jaden Elliott, but not until Deal got to the 24-yard line and picked up a first down. That'll move the chains.
That's kind of one of those Tom Brady, Peyton Manning runs. You don't see Deal do that very often, so St. Mark's is not anticipating that at all. The St. Mark's defensive backfield actually, to their hindrance, did a fantastic job on the wide receivers. Unfortunately, linebackers got tied up. Deal had a huge hole in the middle of the field.
And so 1st and 10. And it's a quick pass to the slot. I believe that was McCloskey. Either way, I believe he dropped it. He did. And so it's going to bring up a 2nd down. It was to Hudson.
Nice job again by Deal. He put that right where it needed to be. Hudson may have seen the hit coming as it came about simultaneously, but he put that Deal did right in the numbers. So, again, Deal continues to impress me. Even the game where they lost by 40 to Hodson, he himself played really well. He played under control. He certainly has the complete confidence of his offense, and he's demonstrated ability to make some nice throws.
And a penalty against DMA is going to move them back. And I didn't see the signal. I was looking down at my
signal either.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. The guys up here in the press box.
And the ugliness continues here tonight as now both teams have been hit with an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
They haven't marked it off yet, I don't believe.
Now we're having a conference, and
no, they didn't move unsportsmanlike. So now they're going to move it.
Okay.
So little confusion there. They're going to move it back. We'll see where it ends up after the penalty. 15-yarders is marked off. It's going to be back on the 39-yard line, so a good break for the Spartans. And it's going to bring up a 2nd, and it looks like at least 24, 25 yards.
Yeah, this is, you don't have any in the playbook for 2nd and 25 here. I'm sure DMA is going to try to pick up some of this and get themselves in a good position to possibly go for a 4th down.
Going to motion is Boyd left to right. He resets just to the left of McCloskey in the slot, and he's over there as a blocker. He pitched it to Aline. Aline looked like he wanted to pass. Instead, he cuts back to the left, gets across the 35, shakes another tackle, and finally brought down from behind. Nice tackle there by Gavin McCarthy along with a couple other teammates, and didn't get back to the original line of scrimmage. So that's going to bring up a third down.
I couldn't see the number, but that play looked like it was going to go for a touchdown. They were trying to hit Dior Boyd on the far side, but one of the St. Mark's defensive backs sort of stopped on a dime at the last minute and picked Boyd up, which caused that play to blow up. Lean doing a nice job again to get it down to 3rd and 12, get them in a position where you only need maybe 7, 8, 9 yards to get yourself in a 4th and manageable.
Myers, Smyrna coach Mike Judy has been ejected, upset over a pass interference call. And Smyrna, Smyrna doesn't have Nolan Henderson anymore. They don't have Will Knight anymore, but they've got Stephen Whaley and they've got Evan Roberts, and Sanchez is doing a nice job. They can put up 24, 25 points in the second half with no problem.
You talk about Coach Marks, Mike Marks, the offensive coordinator. He does such a nice job down there. They've got some tools in the tool bag there that they can get something going. So yeah, I wouldn't write that off certainly.
So a minute to play here in the first half. DMA has a 3rd and 12. We're going to call it at about the 27-yard line. Deal drops back, firing for the end zone. Looked like he was trying to get it to Green. Incomplete.
Stride for the ball. So the job by the defense.
Saline is behind Deal, and Deal drops back. He's under pressure. Looks like a jailbreak screen to Green, and Green gets hung up and brought down. A great tackle there for St. Mark's. That was Gavin McCarthy. It's going to be a turnover on downs for DMA.
Gavin McCarthy, the St. Elizabeth's transfer, 6'1", about 275 pounds, a really big kid. I believe he's only a junior this year, but at 3 levels of the St. Mark's team.
St. Mark's is in, and Jelani Bryant is under center. 1st and 10 on the 30-yard line, moving left to right. And it's a pitch, and the pitch is back to Tim Butler. He gets around the left side, trying to get around the edge. He gets knocked out of bounds, so the clock will stop. And we'll see. He's going to be out right at the first down, so it is going to be a first down. I'm not sure. I have St. Mark's for taking 1 timeout. I think they might have taken a second.
I believe they did take a second. I believe there's 1 timeout left in the half. St. Mark's that time got a great job. They set the edge really well on the right side of the play side of the field. So again, we're still kind of waiting for St. Mark's to get into an offensive rhythm. They just haven't been able to do it tonight. Every time it looks like they're going to get something going, they do something to shoot themselves in the foot.
And so we'll see if they're able to do something here. With 42 seconds to play, they trail 6-0. Man goes in motion, and then Bryant comes out to that side. He's firing, trying to get his man, and coming back for the ball, and incomplete. That was Blake Sanders. Almost was able to put off the miraculous catch there. Unable to do it. It's going to bring up a second down.
Yeah, unfortunately, a little off target again from Jelani Bryant. Not that that's an easy throw to make by any stretch of the imagination. Drew Fry is a kid that could probably make that throw. Jelani Bryant, after a year working with Joey Wright, possibly he's a kid who makes that throw. But he did put it close. A good job by the DMA defensive back to get turned around and, again, avoid getting the defensive pass interference penalty.
I think it was Dior Boyd. Hard to see his number, but I believe it was Boyd who made the play based on where he's lining up now, and somebody smacking him on the rear end. Telling him it was a good play. So going to be 2nd and 10. Ball on the 40-yard line. In the shotgun is Bryant. 2 wide receivers out on each side. And he drops back, and he's looking to his right and throws it up. And this could be a jump ball, and it's a jump ball that Boyd doesn't even have to jump for. Interception at the 35-yard line across the 40 to the 45. Shakes 2 tacklers and runs out of bounds. Actually stops shy of being run out of bounds at the 48-yard line. So not a good throw by the quarterback there.
When we were growing up, I believe they called that the wounded duck. That one obviously slipped out of the hands of Jelani Bryant. We know he has a strong arm. That one kind of left his fingers and went straight up into the air about 10, 15 yards downfield. An easier interception DMA will not have. And now, all of a sudden, if you're DMA with 21 seconds left in the half, I'm not sure their timeout situation, but if you can get yourself in a position to at least throw it into the end zone, you take a couple chances.
And so it's going to be 1st and 10 on the St. Mark's 48-yard line. Bryant is back in shotgun formation, and it looks like St. Mark's is going to take a timeout and try to make sure that they don't give up an easy shot into the end zone right here. A big thanks to our partner, NKN Films, for their outstanding design on our 2018 high school football schedule poster. Visit nknfilms.com for all your video needs. Crown Trophy, People's Plaza in Newark, is your one-stop shop for trophies. People's Plaza of offensive firepower. Also has one receiver trying to hit Austin Edmonds, who's got 5 catches on the season. For a touch, going to bring up a second down.
That's another interesting play call. I would have kind of expected DMA to go through a short screen pass, a bubble screen, a jet sweep, something to get Dior Boyd or Karan Ali the ball. Again, if you can get down to at this point, you're not going to get much on a play like that. St. Mark's is they're not going to play press coverage in this kind of a situation.
On the right hash mark, moving right to left, second down and 10, a pair of wide receivers on both sides. He gives to Eileen up the middle. Eileen gets through the first level of the defense and the second, but gets taken down at the 36-yard line. The clock will stop while they move the chains. There's 10 seconds left in the first half.
Karan Ali, again, he just doesn't need a lot of room. He's able to slip through the smallest cracks in the offensive and defensive lines. DMA taking another timeout here with the ball in the 41 and 10 seconds. You have a chance to maybe pick up 10 yards on an out play or a little screen, get yourself out of bounds, and then maybe take a shot in the end zone, see if you can make something happen.
Ryan Duplessis with a nice tackle there. DMA takes what I believe is their final timeout of the first half. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local Union 313 and the National Electrical Contractors Association, NECA, energizing Delaware with their highly skilled electricians partnered with Signatory Contractors. Local 313 electricians will safely get your job done right on time and within budget. Visit IDEW313.org. So to the best of our knowledge, Marty, they are out of timeouts. It is 1st and 10. Ball is on the 36-yard line. 10 seconds left to play. So you've got to accept the fact that if you're going to try to get Karan,
you know, the funny thing is, even with everybody focused on Karan Ali, we know he's still fully capable of taking this to the house.
And he's not going to get the ball. Dropping back his deal. He's firing to the right side, down the sideline, and it's almost intercepted there and falls incomplete with 4 seconds left to play, trying to catch the number on the man who made the nice defensive play there. Might have been Michael Williams, still waiting for him to turn around so that I can see him. Actually, it was Zion Glover on the coverage there.
Yeah, Zion Glover with a nice job of staying deep there with Dior Boyd. I'm impressed with Joe Deal's arm. I'll be honest, I did not think he could get that close to the end zone from their current spot on the field. So if you're St. Mark's, you have to rethink what you do with your defensive backs here. You certainly don't want to get caught with any of the DMA players behind your defense.
Neither team has a timeout left, so this is going to probably be the last play of the game, barring a defensive penalty. It's second down. Ball is on the 36-yard line. Nobody in the backfield except Deal. So Karan Ali, looks like they may try to hoist it up to him. They do. The St. Mark's defense is back, and it falls incomplete. And that is going to bring us to the half here at St. Mark's Stadium. It's homecoming here, and for the Spartans, they hope to have a better second half than the first half. It's Delaware Military Academy 6. St. Mark's
The Hadley Group is your local real estate resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson Schwartz & Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So for your next purchase or sale, think the Hadley Group. Visit our website at thehadleygroupre.com. The Hadley Group is your local real estate resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson Schwartz & Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly. Think the Hadley Group. Visit our website at thehadleygroupre.com. The Hadley Group is your local real estate resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson Schwartz & Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So for your next purchase or sale, think the Hadley Group. Visit our website at thehadleygroupre.com. The Hadley Group is your local real estate resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson Schwartz and Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So, for your next purchase or
Welcome back to Spartan Stadium. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan here on the 302 Sports broadcast. We are underway. Kareem Aline got the kickoff. They tried to kick it out of bounds.
They did.
Marty, and he almost ran it back. Instead, it is now 2nd and 9. Ball on the 48-yard line. DMA moving right to left. As we see it, the hand is to Devin Green. And Green makes his way up the middle. And only a freshman gets up to the 46-yard line. And we saw him play a lot against Hodson when Aline missed the game.
Yeah, he really looked tentative against Hodgson in the first half. He came on in the second half, played with a lot more confidence. He's gotten a pretty good workload, especially last week with Karan Aline playing quarterback. So Green, the freshman, getting some probably some important time. It'd be a contributing factor next year for this team.
Deal, of course, missed last week with a concussion. He was probable coming into tonight, and obviously has played almost the entire game. And a throw to the right side is incomplete, tipped up into the air, and intercepted by St. Mark's. A great heady play there by St. Mark's. And the pickoff was by Devin Jones. And so St. Mark's will take over.
That looked like a nice throw by Deal. He had a lot of mustard on it. It hit off the hand of the DMA receiver that was going to be hit. It looked like, I'm not sure if he got a little, to use the phrase, the alligator arms there with the contact coming, but it popped up into the air. And then Devin Jones, a fantastic job, athletic play to dive and come up with that ball before it hit the turf.
So at 10:33 here in the third quarter, St. Mark's is going to take over on their own 33-yard line, trailing DMA 6-0. St. Mark's with a 4-2 record. DMA 3-3. Neither team really can afford another loss and have a clean slate or a clean shot to get into the playoffs. Snap is back to Bryant, and he is taken down. He was flushed out of the pocket, and it's going to be a loss of about 3 yards back to the 30-yard line.
They wanted to go deep on that play, but a nice job. I can't tell if that's Karan Aline that was back deep on that play, but it was a nice job. It wasn't Karan Aline, it was Dior Boyd, who was deep on that play for DMA. So both defensive backfields tonight have come up big for both teams. They've really curtailed the big play. For St. Mark's, John, that entire first half, 1 first down for an offense that's really been productive this season.
And so we'll see if St. Mark's can't get something going here. The I formation, it's a pitch back to Benham, the leading rusher for the Spartans. He gets around, tries to get around the edge, gets back to the original line of scrimmage, and maybe a yard more to the 35-yard line is where they're going to mark it. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and about 8.
The DMA defense is not very big, but they are quick, and that time they strung that play out to the far sideline. Carter Benham kind of tiptoed around waiting for a hole to open up. It just never happened. Eventually just plied himself into the line to try to get what he could, bring up a 3rd and long for the DMA defense.
Tweet from Brad Myers, Dover 30, Smyrna 8 at the half. Mike Judy has been ejected from that game after 2 consecutive unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. Salim Wormley and Darrell Williams were both injured in the first half, so the big Penn State
that's right.
recruit went down. We're not sure how serious that injury is, but either way, it looks like Smyrna, well, I shouldn't say that. It's only halftime, and they're down by 22, and we know that they can score a lot in the second half. Bryant is flushed out to the right, being chased. A nice block there. Whips it out and gets it out to Duplessis, and it's going to be just short of the first down. Going to bring up a 4th and about 1.5.
The referee looked like he, okay, I thought for a minute he signaled that it was a first down. It is going to bring up 4th and short. This is interesting. St. Mark's, you know, they haven't gotten into a lot of 3rd and 4th short situations tonight. I'm kind of surprised that they immediately go right to the punt. I don't disagree with it. I think in a 6-0 game, you want to keep as many options open as you can.
Eric Lubman is on the punt. Aline will be back. We'll see if they give him a shot or not. They are. He's going to kick it right to Aline. He's going to get it at the 23-yard line and just dive forward. He lost his footing there. It looked like he might have slipped. They're going to mark it at the 9-yard line, and that is where DMA will take over with a 6-0 lead, 8:27 to play.
That's the second time we've seen Karan Aline sort of lose his footing tonight. That was a dangerous situation again. The kick from Ludman right to Karan Aline on a line. And, John, just another score update. Everybody knows how much I love St. Elizabeth Vikings, the Auks, the Auks of Archmere, who really are one of the hottest teams in the state right now and have beaten both of the teams we're watching here tonight, are up 27-0 early in the third quarter on St. Elizabeth's.
6-0 here, DMA over St. Mark's. Homecoming here at St. Mark's. Had a nice ceremony at the half. And Deal is in the shotgun formation. Boyd goes in motion. They're going to give it to Boyd on the sweep. Boyd's trying to get around the right side. He ends up cutting it back up, and he's going to maybe get back to the line of scrimmage. A nice play on defense there by the St. Mark's. There, it looked like that was Devin Jones on the tackle.
Yeah, I want to take an opportunity. I spoke to Al Bucci, one of the DMA assistants, before the game, and I asked him specifically about Jeff's sweeps with with Karan Aline and Dior Boyd, and he said it's something they've really struggled with all season. And just a side note, a shout out to Al Bucci, and the assistant, who provides us with a ton of useful information for our DMA broadcast.
Not just stats, but tidbits and other stuff.
Great stuff.
One is that DMA's never lost 4 in a row,
yes,
which it would be tonight if they were to lose. And they give it to Aline up the middle. Looked like there could have been a face mask call, but no flag there. And Aline's going to get up to about the 34-yard line. The St. Mark's defense has done a nice job containing Aline for the most part tonight.
They have. Aside from that, the one when he broke the 62, you're right. And they've really kind of kept him in check, not allowed much big yardage situations. And I've noticed toward the end of the second quarter and then on that play as well, St. Mark's is starting to ball hawk a little bit. They're trying to strip the DMA ball carriers. They're trying to make something happen.
Third down on the 39-yard line. Slow snap. Deal gets it, and he whips it out to the side. He was trying to hit Aline in the flat. Incomplete. Going to bring up a 4th down.
Yeah, Aline's reaction to that was sort of odd. He sort of poured his hands back at the last second. It was thrown a little bit ahead of him. He was expecting more of it to come out, more of a looping pass instead of one that led him. So a little missed opportunity there, although there were 2 St. Mark's players in the vicinity.
And so for DMA, Andrew Hudson is going to drop back and punt it away. Sanders is back along with Benham for St. Mark's. They're standing at their 30-yard line. And the punt is away, and it looks like it's going to land about 10 yards shy of where Sanders is standing. He's going to let it block, and DMA is going to down it there. That was Wyatt Inman who's going to get the ball placed on the 39-yard line. It'll be a first down for St. Mark's. They trail DMA 6-0, 6:59 to play here. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan on the 302 Sports live stream. If you tuned into Fox Sports 1290 first and wondering where we are, we had some equipment issues here at the stadium. We apologize, but hope you are enjoying the broadcast on 302.
Yeah, it's been an interesting night. It's one of the games that we were looking forward to. It's 2 teams that appear to be in must-win situations. St. Mark's more because of the schedule they have remaining. They are 4-2 on the season, whereas DMA is in a bit of a tailspin. A lot of it injury-driven. They're now 3-3 after a brilliant 3-0 start. And a loss tonight gives them that 4th loss. They're most likely going to win out. So regardless of what happens tonight, they will be heavy favorites in each of their 3 remaining games. But as you pointed out earlier, John, traditionally, historically, a 4th loss signals a death knell for most teams in Division II in terms of playoffs. I believe you said they were over the last several years. How many teams made the playoffs with 4 losses?
Just 4.
Yeah, that's
over 5 years.
Right. Yeah, that's not great odds.
No.
So DMA certainly would love to put something together, put a little distance between them and the Spartans, and take advantage of the fact that their defense has done an outstanding job tonight.
Milford, a team that can't afford another loss either. They lead Cape 24-0, so that'll be big points, a Division II over a Division I team. Jelani Bryant trying to get DMA to jump off sides, and it looks like he did, and that's odd because that's not a situation where you'd expect that to try to happen.
No, a 1st and 10 after a change of possession is sort of odd, but you had the DMA line, 2 of them started to lean a little forward, and that drove the other 3 to lean a little forward. Before you know it, the whole line had fallen forward. So nice job there by Jelani Bryant. This is one of those 1st and 5. Maybe a situation where if you're St. Mark's, you try something different.
And instead they're going to give it to Benham, which they've done often this season. He gets around to the right side, about 2 yards shy of the first down. They're going to mark it at about the 48-yard line. And so it's going to bring up a second and certainly manageable. This might be maybe where you go
That's
for it.
true. And you know what? I want to point out something we've seen in this game. Both these teams are really good fundamentally at tackling for the most part. I mean, there's been some situations where Karan Aline has slipped through, but for the most part, we're seeing guys not leading with their heads, doing wrap-up tackling beneath the legs. So a really good job of fundamental coaching by both of these coaching squads.
And so it is going to bring up a 2nd and 2. Bryant under center in the I formation. The up back is Jaden Elliott, and that's Benham in the fullback position. Sanders is in the slot. Play action pass out to the right, and they get the ball right there to Elliott, and Elliott sprints up the right sideline for the first down. And so a little trickery. I watched a lot of film. I don't remember seeing that play.
I don't remember seeing that play either. That's a really nice job because the DMA defensive backfield was driven off the ball by the 3 receivers that went out into the pattern. Elliott sort of snuck out into the pattern there and did a little 5 and hitch out. Jelani Bryant with a nice pass to hit him, and nice first down, only the second first down of the game for St. Mark's.
And so 1st and 10 on the DMA 36, 5:30 to play in the third quarter. DMA with a 6-0 lead on a 62-yard touchdown run by Karan Aline, his 11th rushing touchdown of the season. Sanders goes in motion. It's a fake to him, and Bryant is looking deep. Receiver gets tangled up. They were trying to get it down to Marcello. Incomplete. I believe that was Dior Boyd on the coverage, so it'll bring up a 2nd and 10.
And Dior Boyd has just been like glue, sticking to whatever receiver he's been assigned tonight. He's done a really nice job of following his man down and keeping his man on the outside, not letting him have inside position, and he pushes him toward the sideline, so it really doesn't leave much of a lane for the quarterback to drop that in. And I like the fact that Brian threw that really in a place where only his receiver would have been able to run under it.
Another out-of-town score, Dover 30, Smyrna 8 at the half. Sussex Tech with a 28-0 lead over Cesar Rodney.
Wow.
I wouldn't have thought that was the case.
That's a shocker. No, I wouldn't have either.
CR 4-2, and Sussex Tech already with 4 losses. They're playing to keep guys out of the playoffs. And it's a give around the left side. That is Butler, flag down. Butler has the first down if it stands, but not sure that it's going to. We have an injured St. Mark's player at the 20-yard line. And we'll see what the flag is first while they tend to the St. Mark's player.
Yeah, it looked like we had a wicked collision between 2 players, one for DMA, who's on now DMA is taking a knee for the injured St. Mark's player. But that was a really nice job of blocking on the outside by St. Mark's to spring Benham for a really nice game.
And so we'll see if Butler's first down is going to stand. It doesn't look like it is. Still waiting for the official call from the ref. The trainers are out looking at the injured player. I didn't catch the number. We'll see if we'll certainly get it when he gets up. But the ball is going to come back to the 39-yard line. It is going to be a hold against St. Mark's. I have them for 3 penalties, which really at this point in the game is not that bad. DMA has 5, so a lot of penalties, or a few penalties at the beginning we didn't expect.
And you know what? The penalties, though, for St. Mark's, they've all come at the most inopportune times. They've really come when they've had an opportunity to convert a 3rd and short or a 4th and short, or they were in on DMA's end of the field and in good position to possibly go down and punch the ball in. So, again, they get down deep into DMA territory here and push back with a holding penalty.
And walking off the field under his own power is Joseph Cartwright. So
that's a big loss for St. Mark's if he's not able to come back. Joey Cartwright was a 3rd-team All-Stater for the Spartans last year. I believe he was on one of, and I can't remember if it was the offense or defensive lines, but he was one of the players mentioned on Brad Meyer's list among the best in the state at his position this year.
And so it's going to bring the ball back to the 41-yard line of DMA. St. Mark's moving left to right as we see it. They're over on the left hash mark. They've got the all-green uniform on tonight from top to bottom with the gold letters. It's going to bring up a 2nd, and it looks like about 15 or 16. And Bryant with the fake handoff, a play action pass. He's flushed out of the pocket, rolling to his right. He's going to tuck the ball and keep it, and gets knocked down. It's going to be a loss of about 2. And so nice job in on the tackle there was Hudson, along with a couple of his teammates, going to bring up a 3rd down.
That was a really slow developing play from the start. Bryant took about an 8 to 9 foot step drop, He was about 8 or 9 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So he was allowing the receivers to get out in the pattern. But once again, the defensive backfield had clamped down on everyone out in the pattern. DMA defensive line and linebackers were able to get in. So bring up what looked like a promising drive for St. Mark's now in a third and very long situation.
Long as in 16 yards with 4:20 to play and ticking here in the third quarter. DMA clinging to a 6-0 lead. St. Mark's, this might be one of their best drives of the night if they're able to sustain it. Picked up a couple first downs. Jelani Bryant drops back. It's a little jailbreak screen and no go as Benham catches it on the 40-yard line and is tackled immediately there by Zach McCloskey. So didn't fool anybody. Going to bring up a 4th and long.
No, and I would say that came from extensive film watching because Zach McCloskey just sat in the middle and waited for that to develop. He didn't rush the passer as sort of one of those jailbreak screens where they let everyone come through the line. Zach McCloskey read that, sat back, made the tackle almost immediately, forcing a punt situation for St. Mark's.
Loveman back on his own 47-yard line to punt this away to Karan Aline. Benham is in a position to pick up any blockers that might come through. And a light rush looking to set up a return, and they're not going to get that opportunity as the ball rolls into the end zone, and they will bring it out to the 20-yard line. So, Marty, neither offense able to get on track. DMA had the ball first, and there was an interception by Devin Jones. 3 and out for St. Mark's, 3 and out for DMA, and not 3 and out. St. Mark's picked up a first down on their last possession, but ended up punting the ball away.
And really, it's been a nice job defensively by both teams. I mean, there have certainly been miscues on the offensive side by both clubs as well, but more often than not, it's been the defense that has kind of stepped up, or there's been a penalty in an inopportune time. So both teams still really trying to look to establish something offensively. All they have was the one big Aline run. Besides that, neither team has really done anything.
Tonight's broadcast is presented by the United States Air Force. The U.S. Air Force wants you to know there's a new recruiter in your area. Tech Sergeant Andrew Bugg, and his office is located on the riverfront in Wilmington. Stop by and find out about the exciting opportunities waiting for you in today's Air Force. 1st and 10 for DMA. White jerseys, navy blue pants, white helmets, moving right to left as we see it on their own 20-yard line. A 6-0 lead. The handoff is to Aline. He barrels up the middle. He's going to get to about the 25-yard line. Going to bring up a 2nd down. And was that a late flag? It was. Vehemently thrown by the official, so I would assume this is going to be of the unsportsmanlike variety, but we will wait and see.
And you know, for a homecoming crowd, which is really big, by the way, the St. Mark's fans haven't had anything to get excited about. They've really been kind of sitting on their hands the entire game. There just really hasn't been one of those get up out of your seat and get the team going moments. So you know that if they can get this crowd involved, perhaps it energizes the team a little bit, but there just really hasn't been any of those moments where you kind of stand up and say, you know, all right, now I can get excited.
And so the referees are still discussing what exactly is going to happen.
I think,
here.
You know what, there was a second flag that was thrown in afterwards. I think we may end up getting offsetting calls here. Let's see if.
We have a personal foul against St. Mark's and a personal foul against DMA. So that is exactly what's going to happen. They will offset, not count as penalties either way, and it's going to bring up a 2nd down. And I guess just for the
I always love how they do
process,
this. Yeah,
right?
we always
15 one way and 15 the other, and put the ball back down in the exact place that it was on the 25-yard line. So it'll bring up a 2nd and 5.
So, and again, a 2nd and 5 situation, not a bad position to be in if you're DMA. You can do a couple different things here. If I'm DMA, I'm still trying to establish myself on the ground. I'd love to grind out some first downs, keep this St. Mark's defense on their heels a little bit, try to get something going, then maybe you pop a big pass at some point down the line. But for now, just try to get some momentum going.
And so it's 2nd and 5 on the 25, moving right to left to give this to Aline. Aline breaks through the front line and ends up getting taken down by the defensive secondary on about the 36-yard line. A couple of guys in there. Among them was number 15, Victor Marcello.
Watching tape, I can tell you this is the healthiest I've seen Karan Aline look since we did that St. Elizabeth's game before he was really banged up. He looks much better tonight. He's hitting the hole with more authority than he has the last couple weeks. Again, against Archmere last week, he ran with a definite kind of hitch in his get-along there. Tonight, he seems to be much more even-footed as he makes his way through the middle of the line. So hopefully, as the season's wearing on, he's getting more and more healthy.
Face mask call against St. Mark's. Their 4th penalty of the night moves it to the 41-yard line to give us to Aline up the middle, and he goes untouched until he gets to the 50-yard line, gets over into St. Mark's territory. That tackle was made by Blake Sanders, but not until Eileen gets to the 47-yard line of the Spartans.
Because of his quickness and his explosiveness in the middle, it doesn't take much for the DMA offensive line to hold their block, even for a second, a half a second, just to give him enough room to wriggle in between usually the A gap on either side. So a nice job by Cronelli taking advantage of that, but a nice job by the offensive line creating some opportunities.
2:25 to play. DMA with a 6-0 lead, a first down on the St. Mark's 47 to give us to Aline again. He works his way around the right tackle. He breaks away across the 30 to the 25, still on his feet, knocked out of bounds. We'll see where they end up marking it. Either way, it's going to be a first down. Looks like it's going to be marked at the 24-yard line.
You can see he's really starting to feel it now. He's running with more of a pep in his step again than I've seen in about a month. That time, he kind of slowed up a little bit and let his blockers do some work downfield so he could pick up about 5-6 more yards at the end of that. So, again, a really nice job of blocking by the offensive line and downfield by the receivers and the tight end for DMA.
Deal in the shotgun formation. It's Devin Green, the freshman, giving Eileen a spell here. And the give is going to be to Green. He's going to follow where Eileen just was, and he hops over a would-be tackler and picks up about 8 yards. We'll see where they mark him out. They're on the far sideline. Tough for us to see, but it's going to be short of the first down. Looks like it's going to be at about the 18-yard line.
I got to tell you, that is a huge job by Devin Green there to pick up about 6-7 yards. To get, as you said, to spell Eileen for play. He just carried the ball 3 consecutive times, covering about 30 or so yards. For the freshman to come in there and get a nice gain on first down to pick up a second and short, really great job by Devin Green.
2nd and 4 for the Seahawks, moving right to left as we see it. Eileen is back in the game on the left hip of Joe Deal. 2 wide receivers out to the left. It looks like McCloskey, who is in the left slot, to give us to Eileen. He's going to follow McCloskey right up the middle, still on his feet, taken down by a herd of St. Mark's Spartans, but not until he gets to the 6-yard line.
No secret anymore for DMA. They found a soft spot in the middle of that line, and their offensive line is getting off the ball extremely quickly and with a lot of force. They're pushing the middle of that St. Mark's defensive line back, and Eileen is able to wriggle through, bring up a 1st and goal for DMA.
1:12 and ticking here in the 3rd quarter. 1st and goal. Ball is on the 6-yard line. They give us to Eileen, and he's going to be stopped and then thrown backwards by the St. Mark's defense. They're going to mark it at about the 4-yard line, so a gain of 2 will make it 2nd and goal.
Now, this is where it's going to get much tougher, of course. You're working with a lot less real estate. The St. Mark's defense knows that Eileen is going to get the ball. This is where, if you're DMA, you're kind of torn. You don't want to be too predictable, but you do want to get the hands in your best defensive player, your best offensive player when you're down this close to the end zone.
The referee has stopped the clock with 40 seconds to play. It looks like I don't know whether it's an equipment issue. It looks like they're going to send somebody off.
Yes.
That either has an equipment issue or something. And that's Ryan Duplessis, and he doesn't seem to be real happy to be coming off. It's Carter Benham that's coming back in, and the St. Mark's coaching staff is getting an explanation. I don't know whether he got his bell rung, and that's why they
that
sent
would be
him
the
off.
only other reason they would send him off besides an equipment issue, and the fact that he talked to Coach Wright makes me think that maybe that's what it was.
But at the same time, he's standing there by himself.
Yes.
So, and to give it to Eileen, and he just prances into the end zone. So Karan Eileen with his 12th rushing touchdown of the season, a 4-yard run, and it's 12-0 DMA.
That is an absolutely demoralizing drive if you're St. Mark's. By far the best drive we've seen by either team. And there was nothing fancy about that drive at all. No tricks, no getting cute with the ball. That was just strictly running the ball, all our offensive line against your defensive line. In that case, DMA came out on top.
And so they're going to try to go for 2 here. Eileen is back on the field. He'll be in the pistol formation. 1 wide receiver out to the right, and 1 here in the slot to the left. Goes in motion. That looks like Boyd. The give is going to be to Eileen, and he is going to be no signal yet. DMA thinks they got in, and it looks like he might have been short.
Boy, I don't know how you could mark it as good now.
Yeah,
they've waited so long.
Okay, that's right. It is no good. So the 2-point conversion is no good. And with 32 seconds left to play here in the 3rd quarter, DMA 12. They're trying to break a 3-game losing streak. St. Mark's 0. We'll be back right after this.
How long was that, John?
As a military wife, I love helping our airmen and their families with financial tools to help provide financial stability.
I promise to make a positive difference in your financial life, from helping you to lower your payments to discovering ways to help you save for your children's future.
From the needs of college students and first-time auto buyers, I promise to identify and take ownership of your needs.
Local people, local decisions, Dover Federal Credit Union.
As a military wife, I love helping our airmen and their families with financial tools to help provide financial stability.
I promise to make a positive difference in your financial life, from helping you to lower your payments to discovering ways to help you save for your children's future.
From the needs of college students and first-time auto buyers, I promise to identify and take ownership of your needs.
Local people, local decisions, Dover Federal Credit Union.
To St. Mark's, where DMA on a 4-yard run by Karan Aline, his second touchdown of the night, have taken a 12-0 lead. A squib kick there is picked up by Devin Jones, and he's going to work his way up to about the 35, maybe the 36-yard line, where St. Mark's will take over with 27 seconds left to play here in the third quarter. So not a lot of offense for either team, Marty, but Karan Aline, as you might expect, picking up his 11th and 12th rushing touchdowns of the season.
He's a kid who seems to come up big whenever DMA needs it, when he's healthy. I mean, he's just one of those guys that is the go-to player, you know, the guys they always used to call gamers, where you know, he may not be able to practice a lot during the week due to injury, but he comes out and just puts it all on the line, and he looks great tonight. Again, looks healthier than I've seen him in probably 3-4 games.
So with 27 seconds left to play here in the third quarter, Jelani Bryant has his team out, shifting a couple guys around in the backfield. Andrew Vogel making one of his first appearances here tonight. Tim Butler is on Jelani Bryant's right. So the two starting halfbacks are not in. And actually there's that's number 2, Ryan Duplessis, who has the pass caught and gets up to the 40-yard line, going to bring up a 2nd and 6.
And that's, you know, I would say the honeymoon with Coach Joey Wright is officially over with these fans. And some of them were yelling, "Open up the playbook" during the last time out. It's one of those situations where you're working with what you have. I mean, they're running the offense they've run all season. I know people want them to open it up, but DMA has done a really nice job shutting down the passing lanes tonight.
And that brings us to the end of the third quarter. We're going to take a quick break and be back with the fourth. DMA 12, St. Mark's 0. We'll be back on 302 Sports right after this.
How do you get to that gate? How do you get to that, Deary? Oh, okay. Cool. Thank you. Okay.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Solo Concepts. Solo Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group on the culinary coast with 10 locations. We're a chef-driven group. Come check us out. See you soon. Solo Concepts believes in the vision of our founder, Matt Haley. Cook beautiful, simple food, develop the people we work with, and make the world a better place. Solo Concepts on the culinary coast with 10 locations from Lewis, Delaware to Fenwick Island. Come check us out.
Back at St. Mark's High School, where the Spartans are celebrating homecoming and hope that this game turns around quickly here in the fourth quarter as they trail DMA 12-0. 2nd and 6 on the 35-yard line, 40-yard line, excuse me, and the give is around the right side and going to be short of the first down. They're going to end up marking it at about the 45-yard line, and it was Jones on the carry.
John, I can't hold it any longer. Here at the graveyard, it's time for St. Mark's to resurrect the offense. They just haven't been able to establish any momentum here tonight. The passing game has been shut down. The St. Mark's defensive backs have done a really nice job. Carter Benham, a guy who's done a fantastic job for St. Mark's this year, just hasn't been able to get on track. I'm really impressed with the defensive performance by the Seahawks tonight.
Benham is lined up behind Devin Jones in the I formation. The give is going to be to Benham. He's going to follow Jones around to the right side, gets the first down, and knocked out of bounds at about the 45-yard line. So a nice run by Benham. Just as you mentioned, he had trouble going.
That might be the longest
spark.
run we've seen from Benham tonight. So, yeah, maybe that's something. And finally, the crowd starts to get energized. We hear the public address announcer say first down for, I think, the third or fourth time tonight.
Yeah.
So there just really hasn't been a lot for the fans to get excited about. Apparently some Middletown fans have brought their cowbells here since the Cavaliers are out of town this week.
So for St. Mark's, it's going to be a 1st and 10 on the DMA 45-yard line. And the pitch is in the backfield. That's Butler, and Butler gets taken down immediately. Hudson in on the tackle there, going to be a loss of 1.
Butler got a great lead block there, but he didn't take advantage of it. If he would just cut that back upfield a little bit, he had a little bit of a hole, but instead he kept going out to the near side here, trying to find some space on the outside for a bigger play. Probably cost himself some yards, bringing up a 2nd down and 11. At this point, St. Mark's has been playing sort of behind the chains all night long. They've been getting themselves in these 2nd, 3rd, and long situations.
Going to be a loss of 1. Jeremiah Moore now in the fullback position behind Vogel, and the give is going to be to Moore. And Moore is going up the middle, and he's going to get to about the 41-yard line. Still going to be short of the first down. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 6.
And that's what they need right now. They just need some guys to bowl ahead. Forget about the big play for now. It's only 12-0. It's not like they're out of this game by any stretch of the imagination. If they can put a drive together, put points on the board. You've had DMA sacrifice 1 PAT to try to go for 2. They botched another PAT. So this is still very much a game.
And so it's going to be 3rd and 6 on the 41-yard line. St. Mark's trails 12-0, 9:55 to play here in the 4th quarter. St. Mark's moving right to left in the all-green uniforms, top to bottom with the gold trim. Play action pass by Bryant. He goes out to the right-hand side. Has his man. Is going to be a 1st down catch made by Jaden Elliott. So a nice play there. Caught the DMA defense off guard.
You know what? That's the identical play they ran earlier tonight to the other side of the field. I believe it was in the 2nd quarter. It might have been, the 3rd quarter. So that play has been open now. They've run it twice. They've picked up big yards both times. Not that it's something they can continuously run, but it is something. You complete a pass like that, it opens things up for the rest of the offense.
And so it's going to bring up a 1st down. Looks like they have the ball on the 28-yard line is where they ended up marking it. I formation. The give is to the fullback, and he's going to be brought down at about the 25-yard line. And that was a carry by Jeremiah Moore, the big fullback, only a freshman.
Yeah,
5'10",
Jeremiah Moore.
175.
Yeah, he looks like a promising kid. I've seen him on tape with some nice runs. He's a kid that's gotten a good bit of playing time this season for St. Mark's in certain situations. But, again, that's what they need. He picks up 4 on 1st down. They stay ahead of the chains a little bit. So, nice drive so far by St. Mark's.
I formation. Moore's going to stay in the game in the fullback position. It's going to be a pitch back to him. He cuts it up the seam and gets taken down at about the 23-yard line, going to bring up a 3rd and about 5.
Again, we're starting to see some better decisions from the St. Mark's ball carriers. That time, there was an opportunity to pop it outside, but there was nothing there, so he decided to cut it up and get as much as he could. Still brings up a 3rd and manageable for St. Mark's.
And so we'll see what they try to do here. You know, it's one of those, the manageable is a little bit too far to run.
Yes.
But also still, you know, you've got to wonder if you're going to try to play it safe.
So
you got
yeah,
the threat,
exactly.
right. Duplessis goes out on the far right, I formation, and it's going to be a play-action pass. Jelani Bryant's looking to his right, chased out of the pocket by McCloskey, and he's going to get the 1st down up the seam there. Nice run by Jelani Bryant. So they didn't hand it off, they didn't pass it, they ran it and got it.
That was a great decision by Bryant. I was afraid he was going to hesitate a little too long. There was a lane there, and he was waiting for his receiver to come open. Instead, he tucked it down. He's a really good runner when he does that, and picks up the 1st down. As I said, 100 yards rushing last week against a very good defense in Howard. So nice job, nice decision there by Bryant. The nice drive for St. Mark's continues.
He's got over 200 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns. So like you said, a multi-dimensional quarterback. I formation to give is to Benham. Benham works his way up to about the 10-yard line, so it's going to bring up a 2nd down.
This is a drive that serves dual purpose. It gives the St. Mark's defense, who'd been on the on the field for a long time during that long, successful DMA drive. It also starts to wear down that DMA defense a little bit. They haven't been on the field a lot tonight. There's been no sustained St. Mark's drives, and from a confidence standpoint, this does wonders for the Spartans.
Dover 30, Smyrna 16. Smyrna just scored 8:22 to play in the third quarter there. Second down, Jelani Bryant in the shotgun, fires over to the left, and it's intercepted at the 10-yard line by DMA, across the 40, 45. Bryant in pursuit, catches up and throws him out of bounds. On the interception, that was Nicholas Shavico. And so the St. Mark's drive thwarted by an interception there. And Jelani Bryant, not sure if he's physically hurt or mentally hurt here on the sideline.
Yeah, I think it's more of just a down feeling right there. It was a great drive by St. Mark's. Unfortunately, just a telegraph pass. They've thrown that a couple times tonight. That time, Shavico was right in the lane. Earlier tonight, there's been two other occasions where Jelani Bryant was able to get that over that initial defender. This time, he left it just within range. Shavico pulls that down, brings it back a long way. And, you know, excuse me, I was just talking about what a confidence boost for St. Mark's. That just flips. That's a 180 right there in terms of the confidence and momentum.
And so he got knocked out of bounds at the 38-yard line. And that is where DMA will take over with 7:17 to play. You know, the St. Mark's defense almost has to stop DMA at this point.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is a case where if DMA is able to post another score on the board, it puts this game pretty much out of reach. Once you get to that 3-score threshold in the fourth quarter, it's very tough.
McCloskey goes in motion left to right. Deal is in the shotgun formation. There's a flag down. And the ref dropped it as if it was going to be another sideline warning. Nope, it was an offsides.
Yeah, this is one of those, again, it's an odd penalty, but they call it if the player is offside and the snap is imminent rather than let the play develop. So that time, and I believe it looked like it was the cornerback that was lined up a little too close to the receiver, so right in front of the referee.
So that's going to move the ball to the 33-yard line. McCloskey's going to go in motion left to right. DMA's moving left to right, and Aline coughs it up on the handoff. It's still loose, but falling on it looks like Hudson falls on the ball at the 25-yard line, so a lucky break for DMA there.
You know, they're also going to get a first down out of it, which is amazing. Hudson just Johnny on the spot there. He was running down the field. The ball came flying out, and he was on a perfect angle already where the ball kind of rolled right into his chest there. So, boy, not something you expect to see from Karan Aline, especially late in the game when they're protecting a lead, but nice job by Andrew Hudson to secure that.
Aline came up gimping a little bit. He stays in the game. Of course, he missed the Hodson game with a hamstring injury. Played last week for the injured Deal. Played at the quarterback position. Deal gets it. The handoff is to Aline. He goes up the middle, and he's met immediately by big number 55, Gavin McCarthy.
Yeah, that's a 100-pound difference meeting there at the line. So we're going to get – unfortunately, we're going to get an unsportsmanlike on St. Mark's here, which is going to give DMA another first down.
Yeah, I believe it was on Devin Jones. He said something to somebody, and he's being brought off the field, and he's going to get an earful from his coach.
Yeah, the frustration's starting to set in here for St. Mark's a bit, and it's unfortunate because that was a great stop by McCarthy there for no gain, brings up a 2nd and long. Instead, we're going to add 15 yards for DMA here. So, yeah, St. Mark's, really everything kind of falling apart here in the fourth quarter.
And so they haven't marked it off yet. We'll wait and see what they do here. 6:47 to play. And so, like you said, Marty, you know, it was kind of that interception with Jelani Bryant, and nothing's gone right since.
No, it's been all downhill since then. A couple nice plays from DMA. Not nice plays, but being able to come up with that fumble, which resulted in the first down. So a bit of good fortune, and then of course the 15-yard unsportsmanlike on St. Mark's, which is their second of the night.
And that's going to take it all the way to the 13-yard line where DMA will have it. They're on the right sideline, or the right hash mark, I should say. Hudson is lined up over on the left. It looks like Boyd here, closest to us, deals in the pistol formation. And Aline is lined up behind him. Aline already with 2 rushing touchdowns tonight, one of 62 yards and the other for 4 yards. He is just 12 yards away from the end zone should they decide to give it to him. They do. He prances up the middle. He's brought down by a host of St. Mark's Spartans. Actually, I should say he's still on his feet. Finally brought down. They blow the whistle, and we'll see where they end up marking it when it's all said and done.
Another flag after the play, which looks like another either personal foul or unsportsmanlike penalty. Yeah, Aline, great job of just, again, keeping the legs churning. And this DMA offense has really found its stride here in the fourth quarter. And based on what we've seen from Coach Joey Wright, it looks like this may be another unsportsmanlike on St. Mark's.
A couple guys running in and running out here. The referees still have not made the signal. They are moving the football closer to the goal line halfway, and that's what it's going to be, a personal foul against St. Mark's. So the St. Mark's defense falling apart here in more ways than one.
30. We had a 15-yard penalty, then we just had a half the distance penalty. So St. Mark's really kind of sealing the deal on themselves here at the very end. Again, 12-0 is not an insurmountable lead by any, but 18-0
will be.
It will be
Yep.
with this time remaining.
With 6 minutes to play here, DMA on the 3-yard line. It's right now the yardage marker says, or the down marker says second down. I think they're discussing whether that should be changed to first down or not.
Yeah, it's a question because remember in Delaware the personal foul doesn't automatically result in a first down like it would in college or the NFL for our listeners out there. So it depends on where that first down marker is, and it looks like, this is actually an advantage for DMA if it's second and inches. If they get a first down here, it gives them 3 more chances to burn the clock if they can't get into the end zone.
And now the referee just put up 2 fingers to call second down, and they've changed the yardage marker to 1. But I guess it is the referee's watching what's going on, and he's allowing it to stay that. Now he's stopping the clock, or he's stopping the thing, and they're going to consult here, and they're going to discuss this. And so, like you said, Marty, unless they picked it up when they moved the football, it still should be a second down.
It should, yeah. Boy, it feels like we've seen UN meetings less than this decision to move the ball about.
All right, so now
there we go.
Now it is officially a first down after all of that. With 6:17 to play, DMA with a 12-0 lead. They're moving left to right. They've got it. It's going to be first down and goal on the 3-yard line.
Yeah, Joey Wright, I think he was asking for a delay game penalty at some point. Joe Deal is letting this go down to the very end, but of course at that point it was stopped by the officials.
And so 2 wide receivers out to the left. Aline is on the right hip of Deal, who's in the pistol formation.
Yeah,
the clock is running.
He's doing a great job just waiting for the official to start waving that hand at the 5-second mark.
And there he goes. And so Deal is now ready to bark the signal out. And the handoff is to Aline, and Aline goes in untouched. Touchdown,
hole.
Karan Aline. You could have driven a truck through that hole. A 3-yard score. It makes it 18-0. DMA.
You just feel like the St. Mark's defense had kind of been demoralized at that point. The DMA offensive line had been firing on all pistons throughout this fourth quarter. So just a really nice job there of finishing this off. I mean, 18-0 is going to be insurmountable most likely with this amount of time left. DMA, of course, going to go for the 2-point conversion.
And so it'll be marked on the 3-yard line. The snap comes back, and the handoff is to none other than Karan Aline, and he is in. So with 5:47 to play, DMA has taken a 20-0 lead over St. Mark's. You're listening and watching the Game of the Week here on 302 Sports Live. We'll be back for the end of this one right after this.
Was that 2 yards on the touchdown?
I have it as 3.
3, okay.
We're going to go, if you don't mind, just
it's fine.
right through.
Cool.
Quick scoring update. Crown Trophy Player of the Game.
Yep.
And out.
I think we got that one wrapped up.
Yep.
Wow, this game went
south
not
quick.
anything like, what we were expecting. I'm shocked, honestly, that St. Mark's is possibly not going to score.
Yeah. So they'll fall to 4-3.
And all of a sudden, DMA's right back in it.
And welcome back to St. Mark's, where DMA has taken a 20-0 lead. It's been the Karan Aline show. 3 touchdowns, 62 yards, 4 yards, and 3 yards. That last one, you could have driven a truck through the hole the offensive line created for him, so it's not all Karan Aline. He's got a lot of people up front making a lot of great blocks for him. Kickoff is taken at the 12-yard line and brought back to the 25 and the 30-yard line. St. Mark's is going to take over there. And, Marty, it's not impossible with 5:40 left to play, but they're going to have to score quickly. and get an onside kick back.
They are, and you're going to need to put the ball in the air, and DMA has done a fantastic job of shutting down all the alleyways tonight for Jelani Bryant to throw the football. It's just not been anything available, whether down the field. The only thing they've been able to hit are those two mid-range throws to Jaden Elliott, where he kind of snuck out from the tight end position to catch a couple balls. But everything down the field, nothing's been there.
And so Jelani Bryant, who threw the interception that set up that last DMA touchdown, he's back on the field. Tim Butler is going to be lined up on his left hip. Man goes in motion from right to left, and the handoff is to Colmery there, and he runs around across the 30 and gets pushed out of bounds by a couple of DMA players there, led by number 10, Austin Edmonds.
Yeah, that's not going to make the faithful happy. I'll be honest, I'm not sure I understand the start to that drive either. But, you know, Joey Wright's got a ton of experience. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's working with. But, yeah, down 18-0. I mean, he knows that DMA knows they have to throw the football. And I'm guessing on a speed sweep like that with somebody like Colmy, you're trying to get a kid who can make some moves, who has a good burst out in a one-on-one situation against someone.
The only good thing is he got out of bounds
yes.
and stopped the clock. So it's going to bring up a 2nd and 9 ball on the 30-yard line. St. Mark's moving right to left. They're on the left hash mark. Marcelo is lined up closest to us along with Duplessis. And he goes in motion, and Bryant is looking, and throws it out of bounds. Nice coverage there by Edwin Maxwell. He's trying to get it to Marcelo.
Maxwell is a kid who was injured in that Hodgson game as well. He'd been out for a little while, but that was a great job again. What they do, these defensive backs for DMA, and I'm guessing they've been trained that way, they're pushing the receivers for St. Mark's to the out-of-bounds line. So by the time Jelani Bryant throws the ball, there's nowhere for the receiver to make an adjustment. There's just no room on that sideline. So really nice job by Edwin Maxwell to play that.
And Bryant brings the play in from the huddle. It is 3rd down and 9 on the 30-yard line. Marcelo's going to line out on the left. He's going to be joined by Blake Sanders. Over on the right is Duplessis, and on the far right is Tim Butler. Bryant is in the backfield. And Bryant avoids one tackler, and Duplessis over the middle goes right through his hands, and he'd be the first one to tell you that he should have had that. Hudson on the coverage there, but Hudson got lucky, quite frankly.
Yeah, that's when you feel bad for Duplessis on that one. He put it right where it needed to be. The interesting thing was DMA was playing a cover 2. They had 2 deep safeties, but when Bryant rolled out of the pocket, those 2 safeties came up to stop him from running. It ended up leaving the receivers in one-on-one. Bryant with a perfect pass over the middle, and unfortunately just Duplessis not able to come up with that one.
4th down and basically 4th in the ball game.
Yes.
From the 30, they got to get to the 39-yard line, so it's 4th and 9. Bryant is moving people around. 3 wide receivers head out to the right. There's one on the left, and it is Carter Benham, who is on the left hip of Bryant. Bryant looks left. Now he's going to roll right. Looking, flushed out of the pocket. He's going to run for the first down across the 40. He's got it to the 50. One man to beat. Bryant's going all the way. Jelani Bryant's making something out of nothing. Touchdown, Jelani Bryant, a 69-yard scamper, actually a 70-yard scamper for Bryant.
We talked about at the beginning in the pregame show that one of his weapons is his legs. And that time, DMA playing with the 2 safeties that got deep a little bit, the receivers split the field. The receivers were to either boundary line. It left the middle wide open. And once Jelani Bryant was able to escape the pocket and those linebackers, it was just a matter of using his speed to get to the end zone. So a great job by the junior quarterback.
So a 70-yard scamper by Bryant. The cars are filing out in the road across from us here. They might want to turn around and come back. Aaron Ludman is on for the extra point. 13 of 17 he's made this year. The snap is back, the hold is down, the kick is up, and it is good. So with 4:34 to play here, it's not over yet. St. Mark's gets on the board on a 70-yard quarterback keeper touchdown run by Jelani Bryant. Your score, DMA 20, St. Mark's 7. We'll be right back after this. Back here at St. Mark's, Jelani Bryant has put the Spartans on the scoreboard with 4:34 to play. We'll see in a second whether it's too little, too late, as we expect Eric Ludman to attempt the onside kick. And, of course, new rules here, Marty, in the high school level for these onside kicks.
Yes, that's right. You have to you cannot just pop the ball up into the air. You have to bounce the ball before it reaches the receiving team. That was a safety issue they put in, as guys would just pop it up about 10 yards, leaving the receiver to be absolutely blasted by the kicking team.
And so Ludman, he squib kicks it, hoping that'll go in and out of the hands of DMA, and it does not. A nice grab there by one of the up men, and it's going to be down at the 48-yard line. So DMA will take over there a 20-7 lead. They're trying to break a 3-game losing streak. Started out 3-0, lost 3 in a row. They've never lost 4 straight games under Mike Ryan. DMA has defeated St. Mark's 3 years in a row. The last win by St. Mark's was when they were in Division I back in 2014 when they went on to the state semifinals. Since then, it's been all DMA in this rivalry, if
That's
you call
right.
it that.
They really flipped the switch. St. Mark's won the last 3 as a D1 team and then have lost all 3 against DMA as a D2 team.
And so DMA is going to start in St. Mark's territory. Deal is in shotgun formation. He's going to give it to Karan Aline. Aline's trying to work his way up in the middle. St. Mark's does a nice job of pushing him back. They're going to give him a gain of about 3 to the 40-yard line, or 45-yard line, I should say. And I think St. Mark's has taken the first of what I think is all 3 of their timeouts remaining.
And given the fact that Aline did cough the ball up on the last drive, although it was covered by his own teammate Andrew Hudson, you know the St. Mark's players are going to be in there stripping away at the ball. Again, trying to get something to happen, trying to get this ball back. They're going to burn their timeouts, of course. If you're DMA, you're not as much interested in a first down as you are keeping the clock going, although you'd love Aline to bust one of these, even if it's for enough to get the first down, get 4, fresh set of downs, burn some clock.
Coming up right after the game, it's the iHeartRadio postgame show presented by American Spirit Federal Credit Union, bringing you Kasasa Checking. Ask for free Kasasa Checking by name at American Spirit Federal Credit Union in Newark, Middletown, and Dover. Visit AmericanSpirit.org. Domino's Hotspots. Get pizza delivered to outdoor locations like parks, beaches, and more. Not at home? Not a problem. Visit Domino's.com for details on Domino's Hotspots. We'll also announce our Crown Trophy Player of the Game. Crown Trophy has been the official supplier of the hardware we hand out for both football and basketball since our broadcast began 12 years ago. Second down and about 8 from the 45-yard line. It's going to be a direct snap back to Aline. He barrels his way up, and it looks like he's got the first down. So Aline taking things into his own hands, gets up to the 36-yard line, and that's going to be a first down. And we'll see. Right now the clock has stopped. We'll see if Joey Wright decides to take another timeout. 4:15 left to play here.
And he is going to take his second timeout right on cue here, and that's a great job by the offensive line and Karan Aline to keep that clock going now with a new fresh set of downs.
And it was a play that I think caught them off guard.
Yes.
Deal was in the backfield, and they snapped it right to Aline, and he was able to barrel forward. Special Olympics Delaware is always looking for qualified coaches or former players wanting to coach. The next seasons are bowling and basketball. It takes just 2 hours a week for 8 weeks to make a difference. For more information, visit SODE.org. If you haven't checked it out yet, make sure to check out the Special Olympics Unified Flag Football competitions at the local high schools. 13 high schools have unified flag football teams. It's a team made up of people with and without intellectual disabilities, and a great opportunity for student athletes from all backgrounds, all ability levels, to have a chance to play football. Check out the schedules on websites.
No matter where you are in life,
First
at
down
every
and 10
stage,
at the
we are
35
here
for
for
DMA,
you.
trying to snap their 3-game losing streak here and move to 4-3 and keep their playoff hopes alive. Direct snap to Aline. He hands it off to Devin Green, the freshman. Green tries to get around the corner. Most importantly, stays in bounds. They're going to mark him down at about the 29-yard line. And we'll see if Joe Ray Wright is going to take his final timeout or not.
You know what? That's a great heads-up play by Green. He probably could have taken an angle to get himself out of bounds, had the forethought to get down and get out of bounds. Joey Wright going to burn St. Mark's last timeout.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local Union 313 and the National Electrical Contractors Association, NECA, energizing Delaware with their highly skilled electricians. Partnered with Signatry Contractors, Local 313 electricians will safely get your job done right on time and within budget. Visit IBEW313.com NKNFilms.org. If you haven't checked it out yet, go to the Fox Sports 1290 AM website and check out our new poster by NKN Films. Another great job by the crew over there for our scheduled poster. Visit NKNFilms.com for all your video needs. 4:05 to play. It is second down. The ball is on the 29-yard line. DMA with a 20-7 lead here. Had a 20-0 lead until Bryant scampered 70 yards for a touchdown to give some life back to St. Mark's. They've now used all 3 of their timeouts. The direct snap goes to Aline, and he's going to give it up the middle to the big man, and that is, I couldn't check the number there. I don't know if that was Liam Rengers. I don't see the, trying to get the number there. These DMA numbers, if you're just tuning in, are almost impossible to see. Whoever it was, they picked up a first down, and that is all going to be about put this game away for DMA.
And I'll tell you what, I'm so impressed with the DMA offensive line tonight. They're missing 2 senior starters. Jacob Hudson has been the anchor for this offensive line the last couple weeks, really held things together. And he and company have done a fantastic job of just, after a slow first quarter, really owning the last 3 quarters of this game against the Spartans.
2 running backs on each hip, and now Devin Green breaks out to the left side. The snap's going to go right back to Aline. Aline is going to keep it and run up the middle. He runs into a wall and is going to be pushed back. And so an interesting strategy here, Marty. Joe Deal is out. I sort of understand that. He came into the game having recovered from a concussion.
Yes.
But Aline has had some nagging injuries as well. And so it looks that even though they're giving the ball to Aline for safety reasons, probably in terms of protecting it, he's not trying to do anything fancy with it.
No, he's not. And I agree with you. I like the idea of getting Deal out of the game. He's coming back from a concussion. I like the idea of not trying to do anything fancy with Aline, given that he, too, has been recovering from an injury.
And so it is going to be second down and 10. Ball on the 18-yard line. Green goes in motion right to left. One wide receiver, I believe it's Boyd, is out to the right. And Aline is going to get the direct snap. He lets the clock go down as much as it can, and he's going to go over the left tackle and be taken down at about the 9-yard line. Bring up a 3rd and about 2 here. Clock is ticking. It'll be under 2 minutes to play when they get the next snap off.
There we see again the left side of that DMA offensive line just blowing St. Mark's off the ball, so doing a fantastic job. And John, I just came across one score that kind of shocked me. Sussex Tech has now put the running clock on Caesar Rodney 35-0 in the 4th quarter.
Wow.
That one really, really surprises me.
And Caesar Rodney still has to play Dover in their traditional
yes.
matchup, and so they're going to be in a position here where this could be a loss that comes back to haunt them. And direct snap is going to go back to Aline again. He's got running backs on both sides of him, and he's going to hand it off, and the number is Dylan Gilbert. He was the one that had the other handoff as well. Gilbert's going to be stopped, and it's going to bring up a 4th down, 1:45 to play here. DMA is going to win this one 20-7. They're going to win this one. The question is whether it's going to be 20-7 or whether DMA is going to be able to punch it back in. On this 4th and 4, they're moving left to right, and they are on the left hash mark. 2 running backs again on both sides. Green is on the one side, and that is Gilbert on the right side of Aline. Dior Boyd is lined up here on the right side as a wide receiver. And it's a fake, and Aline keeps it, and he gets driven back and is going to be short of the first down. So the clock is going to stop with 1:10 to play, and St. Mark's is going to come back onto the field trailing 20-7 here. We'll see. It's certainly not a 2-minute drill here at this point. It's a 1 minute and 10-second drill that you got to score before half of it's over.
Yes, with no timeouts
right.
remaining. So yeah, this is really an uphill battle for St. Mark's. It'd be interesting to see Johnny Bryant give him a chance to air it out a little bit here, see what they can make happen. John, I got an interesting one for you here. St. Elizabeth has lost to Archmere 36-0. So St. Elizabeth is 4-3. Their 3 losses are by a combined 124-0.
Wow. And yet they have 4 wins.
And they have 4 wins. So, go figure.
Yeah, go figure that. One of those wins was against this DMA team, and it was actually the win that started their 3-game losing streak. And now DMA is going to take a timeout, so I think Mike Ryan wants to make sure that they don't do anything foolish here and give up a big play.
I agree. Yeah, I think this is a case where Coach Ryan is just saying, look, don't let anything get behind you. Jelani Bryant burnt them on that one where they were kind of spread out by the wide receivers. Just want to make sure nothing like that happens again.
Dover leads Smyrna 38-22. That is late in the third quarter, so that would be, I guess you can't call that an upset anymore. For the last 4 years, that would have been an upset.
That's right.
You can't anymore. Delmar has taken care of Seaford 45-6, so Delmar moves to 7-0. They are the you have to consider them the favorite.
Absolutely.
AI DuPont maybe a second.
Yes.
Wilmington Friends, you can't cross them out.
Howard, you gotta
Howard,
look at them. Archmere is still up there at 5-1.
But I don't think there's anybody who would bet against
no, I don't
Delmar at this point. We watched them on film against St. Elizabeth.
Oh my goodness,
for that game, and it was like watching a Division I team.
It really was. That offense is just incredible. I mean, and they have multiple weapons. They run that different style. It's an all-run offense. They rarely ever throw the ball, but boy, oh boy, do they run that one dimension well.
And so with 1:10 to play, St. Mark's has come back onto the field. They trail 20-7 here on homecoming. A good part of the crowd has already emptied out. And Jelani Bryant drops back. He's looking, fires over the middle, has his man, and a big hit there. It was a very nice catch. And a big hit there after the catch. That was Colmery that came down with it. He's slow getting up, but pops right up. First down, ball on the 31. St. Mark's is out of timeout, so Bryant's going to have to get this one going. The chains are set. The referee has started the clock. We are under a minute to play. Bryant drops back. He's looking to the sideline, and he's trying to hit Sanders. He has him at the 55-40, taken down. And the question is, was he out of bounds or not? They stopped the clock to move the chains. They're going to mark it at the 35-yard line. So a nice run and catch there. Throw and catch, I should say.
It was. I'll be honest, I didn't think he got out of bounds. I was surprised he didn't immediately run out of bounds. Let's see if they wind the clock. They are winding the clock.
Down.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing he didn't do right was get out of bounds there. I thought that was a good call by the official. I thought he was tackled in bounds. And so 45 seconds to play here. The ball's on the 35-yard line. First down. Bryant drops back. He's flushed out of the pocket, escapes one tackle. He's trying to get to the sideline. He cuts it up to the 20, to the 10. Touchdown, Jelani Bryant. A 35-yard touchdown.
This is incredible. I mean, you know, it's still statistically, if we were using the ESPN FPI they love to use, I'm sure we still have a very high percentage of a DMA victory, but boy, you got to give St. Mark's all kinds of credit here for continuing to fight. And Jelani Bryant is just kind of taking the offense on his shoulders here and has done a fantastic job running the football.
And so it was a 70-yard run on their last possession and a 35-yard run there, and all of a sudden it's 20-13. Eric Ludman is on for the extra point. Snap is back, the hold is down, the kick is up, and it is good. So he moves his things, or his point after touchdowns to 15 out of 19 on the year. And with 31 seconds left to play, we'll take what might be our final break, might not. DMA trying to cling to a 20-14 lead. We'll be back with the end right after this.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Solo Concepts. Solo Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group on the culinary coast with 10 locations. We're a chef-driven group. Come check us out. See you soon. Solo Concepts believes in the vision of our founder, Matt Haley: cook beautiful, simple food, develop the people we work with, and make the world a better place. Solo Concepts on the culinary coast with 10 locations from Lois, Delaware to Fenwick Island. Come check us out.
Welcome back to St. Mark's, where just when you thought it was over, it's not over yet. With 31 seconds to play, Jelani Bryant, a 35-yard touchdown run, his second of the night and second in the last 4 minutes to pull St. Mark's within 20-14 and reignite what's left of this homecoming crowd. I think the cars going by and leaving must be wondering why the bells are ringing and why this game is still going on, because when they walked to their cars, it was pretty much a done deal, 20-0. Ludman, and it hit a Spartan before it went 10 yards, so no matter who recovered that onside kick, it shouldn't count.
Yeah, this is not going to – it definitely –
But I don't think anybody saw it.
No, there is a flag
on
the field. Yeah, the near official here did see it. I'm with you, though. I saw it, but, boy, if he hadn't seen it, I don't think anyone else did.
No, so a great job by the officials there. They saw the ball actually hit one of the St. Mark's players who was running to recover it before
about
it went 10 yards.
About 8.5 yards into that bounce, it nicked the St. Mark's player. So, unfortunately, this is.
And the ref just made the wrong signal.
He's signaling first down St. Mark's.
St. Mark's the ball on first down, and that's not the case.
No.
So it's going to be DMA's ball, and I believe the ball will be down at the spot that it was touched. And that's exactly what's going to happen. It will be DMA's ball at the 48-yard line. St. Mark's does not have any timeouts left, so they will only have to take one knee. There is only 29 seconds left, and then that will do it.
I'll tell you what, though, that was a fantastic onside kick by Ludman. I mean, he played that perfectly. Unfortunately, the St. Mark's player kind of ran into it, but otherwise, that was really well executed.
And so DMA is going to, I guess you have to say, escape.
I think so at this point, absolutely.
20-14, as the onside kick did not work there, almost worked to perfection, but a nice job by the officials, because that was not an easy one to see.
No,
either.
It wasn't.
We've got a good angle there, and so the official who made that call did a very nice job, because it could have been a costly mistake by the crew if they had not made it.
Yes, it could, because the official on the far side signaled St. Mark's ball,
right.
So if this one had not caught it, possibly totally different outcome here.
And so we're just going to have to snap the ball once, take a knee, and this will be over, and that's exactly what happens. Joe Dio comes on and takes a knee. The clock is running. They're lining up at midfield. We're going to keep it right here and roll into the post-game show. Your final score, DMA 20 and St. Mark's 14. DMA ups its record to 4-3. They snapped their 3-game losing streak, and they continue to not have a 4-game losing streak under head coach Mike Ryan, who's in his 4th year here. St. Mark's falls to 4-3, and so now both these schools are pretty much at must-win situations, or certainly don't want to find themselves with 4 losses going here. It was a game that lasted 2 hours and 30 minutes. DMA next week, they're going to head to First State Military Academy, or I'm going to say they're going to host at Boehner Stadium. St. Mark's is going to host Woodbridge right here on Friday night and try to get back on the winning streak. The scoring tonight, pretty simple. For DMA, it was Karan Ali, rushing touchdowns of 62 yards, 4 yards, and 3 yards to put his team up 20-0. And then just when you thought it was all over with 4:34 to play, Jelani Bryant scampered 70 yards to bring his team within 20-7. They held DMA, turned it over on downs, and after a nice almost worked, just wasn't able to pull it out. Marty, your quick thoughts on the game.
You know, I was really impressed with DMA. I'll be honest, I did not expect them to come out and play so well tonight. Defensively, I was shocked they were able to hold St. Mark's scoreless for about 3.5 quarters. St. Mark's found some sparks on offense late. I'm guessing they're going to make the run option a little more prevalent, featuring Jelani Bryant after seeing what he can do in the open field. And for DMA, boy, with 3 winnable games on the schedule, they are right back in the hunt of having all their goals still firmly in front of them.
All right, so with that, it's time to announce our Crown Trophy player of the game. Crown Trophy, People's Plaza in Newark is your one-stop shop for trophies, plaques, medals,